We are continuing the good and bad parts of Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. Again, these are my opinions. Let me know what you think down below. But we're here with episode 7. Let's jump straight into it. We open up with a good point, and this is the plan of action that the Rangers have come up with as they are traveling to Earth. The ship is ready to go, it's ready to fly, and has been heading towards Earth. I generally like this. I think this is cool, and it does feel like this is what Power Rangers would be doing, so it's kind of nice to keep it in the kind of theme of it. I like it. What did you think? We come into a bad point, and this is something that we see in a lot about television and stuff like this. When Zato picks up the cup and drinks from it, there is nothing in it, and it just feels fake. Why not put some water in there at least? It looks like he's poured something into it, but there's nothing there. I don't know. Could put some water in there so he could at least, because he could look like he's actually drinking something rather than faking it. We come up to the scene that everybody has been waiting for, and that is Heckle. He is here. He is literally giving Squillia a voucher to say, hey, go do what you want. You have everything that you want to do right now. Have a spa day. You treat yourself, and she loves it. But Unizo, I think that his name, he comes in and he ruins the day. I love the fact that Heckle transforms. He gives a brief story, say, of his background. I kind of want a little bit more, but what we get is absolutely fantastic. But it does lead into a bad point, and let me explain. So Heckle transforms, he gives that information, and he goes over to the device, and Unizo shoots it. Why didn't Heckle kind of just turn around and kind of casually walk over there, be like, hey, you deserve this, and then go, oops, so that the machine drops down and the force field is there, and then he transforms. That would be the better thing to do, but no, it's part of the story. We're not allowed to have that. So to me, I generally thought that was a bad thing, but seeing Heckle transform and fight makes up for it, but it's just a little thing that I would have done if I was in Heckle's shoes. A good point is we see Heckle morphed fight is a first, and I really like it. Everything in this fight scene, perfect. Now, this is a bad point which I generally get really infuriated about, and the fact is that the Rangers don't want to wait. They want to rush in, they want to get the job done, get everybody free really quickly. And thinking about it really annoys me, because you think that you have these two powerful Zords ready to go, and yet you can't wait until you hear the whole alarm saying, yep, it's absolutely fine to fly down. You think you could have easily have waited or teleported straight down to the planet, hid, then called the Zords when you knew the field was down. It would have made more sense, and it makes me think that Amelia was wrong for doing this. It just doesn't make sense. It angers me a little bit. Why? Because to me, I feel like it's bad writing for a character that is really good. It's just my opinion on that one. Just my opinion. What did you think? Then we lead into a good point, and that's the Rangers being captured. As I mentioned previously, some people actually like seeing the Rangers fail, and this is an epic fail. So the Rangers get kind of captured, and it kind of leads into the main part of the story, but at least we see the Rangers fail, which I think is a good thing. But we're having another good point right now. We see that the Zords get put back into the morphing grid, and I generally didn't think that it would cost a lot of magic to lift up the Zords and then send them straight into the morphing grid. Why? Like, I generally thought that it wouldn't take too much, that Zato wouldn't be drained of energy. But again, like, it could have been a simple spell. It just feels like everything that Zato does magic-wise, boom, let's amp it up to 10-fold, because that's it. Not 10-fold, boom, let's bring it up to 100. It just, to me, doesn't make sense. I would have thought that that would not have used that much magic whatsoever. The location of the base is another good point. It's generally something that you think, oh yeah, like they would hide there, but as a bad guy, you wouldn't kind of think, oh, they're going here, let's go look at them down at the district, down at the warehouse. I'm sure the bad guys would have gone, oh yeah, I think it's over here. But yeah, the fact is that it could have been a bit more worn down. I think that would have been cool, but yeah, the base is there. I'm going to give this another good point because I like the conversation between Ion, Zato, as well as Solon to actually kind of open up and talk about the use of magic being used and how Zato is going to return to the grid. I really like this because it felt like it was a big moment that he was sharing with his closest friends that have been with him for such a long time, compared to them wanting to tell the Rangers about it because he didn't want to worry them. The fact that he is worrying two of his closest friends, I generally thought the moment was more kind of serious. The moment was more warranted, and I generally kind of like it. I thought that was a nice way to say, hey, I put my trust in you, so please trust me back. But then we come into the scene where Pop has literally to the transporters that were in Beast Morphers and that he got them from Commander Shaw, but he says her name is wrong. But the fact that they're calling back from Beast Morphers was a fantastic thing to me. I absolutely loved it. I wanted more of it. I love the fact that we're getting things like this. It makes things so much easier and nicer to say, hey, we've got it. Calling back past seasons is always my favorite. I do want to know where those devices are. Were they thrown in the bin? Does Simon have them in his house? That they're in the garden, you know, just decorative around? Or again, were they just destroyed? Please, Simon, if you're watching, let me know where these all are. I just think it'd be really cool. Can you imagine like they're turned into like a bird bath or something? Or the fact is they're just stones around the area, which is like when someone goes around to his house, like, oh, what are these? He's like, don't worry, they're just really cool things. And that they're like, oh, all right, cool. He's like, yeah, really cool. I think it'd be funny. The next good point is we see one of the coolest scenes in Cosmic Fury, and that's Solon as a giant, and she's stomping on the Sentinels. And I love the fact that the Sentinels are like, is that one of ours? But no, like she is rampaging a little bit. I would have liked it if she was running through the city, but no, she's able to take out the Sentinels quite easy. And I thought it was a really nice way of putting in there to actually use her rather than her just being the kind of mentor tech person. Yes, I love it. It would have been cool if they had the T-Rex Zord there or another Zord there, but no, this is a really nice way of putting it in. We're talking about a bad point right now, and that's everyone escaping. It just feels like there's not a lot of people in that building whatsoever. And the fact is that when they come running out, there's no like kind of, I wouldn't say stampede would be the best word, but it would feel like you would want more people to kind of come out of there rather than just like what we have. It just feels like everyone could overpower the guards. Just because the squidrels hit the building doesn't mean that you can't have more people. You could have had more guards around. It just felt like they've opened the door to an office and then they could have just run out. It just feels weird. Harvey's parents, like we've known at least his dad to be over the top protective, you know, over the top on things. But yet when they look at his arm, they're like, oh, okay, like that's fine. Like you think you'd have a bit more emotion, a bit more like shit, something's gone down, but obviously nope, no it hasn't. Not many things give me goosebumps when watching TV or anything like that. So for me to feel goosebumps when they do the morph sequence, absolutely loved it. I think it was one of the best parts of this episode. It just generally gave me goosebumps. And then carrying on that goosebumpy feeling is when everybody poses. Perfect. Carrying on this good vibes as we do, seeing everybody fight. Literally, it is stuff that we have wanted for a long time, and I would have loved it if more Rangers had joined in or the fight scenes were a little bit longer. But another good point is seeing Tarek just jump out of nowhere, doing a flying kick, but seeing that flying kick come out of nowhere, boom, perfect. The teamwork is flowing, the Rangers are fighting, and seeing the kind of flip with Amelia and Billy, as in Amelia grabbing his arm and flipping over or whatever, it was wow. Like, I like that kind of combination. I would have loved to have seen a little bit more from the others. That sort of thing of teaming up combo wise would have worked even better. I generally really like parts of this episode, so this gets a good point. One thing I didn't really understand, and I feel like it's a little bit weird, is the fact that when one squidrel, regardless of where it is, goes down, the entire anti-Zord force field goes down. So if one went down because it had a power cut, is that it? Why wouldn't you have something in place of if one goes down, at least the others would kind of still be able to kind of like generate this force field? To me, I'm just a bit, like, I don't get it. I really don't. But this to me is a bad point. We all love a good anime slash where who wins? Is it person A or person B? No one knows. But when they do this in Cosmic Fury and you just see Tarek standing there like a samurai, was a really nice touch, and the fact that Unizo just blows up and we don't ever see him again, that is a very good point. We have another fight scene with Billy, and he's taking on Squillia. And the fact is that she's using her power, she's using her tentacles to kind of fight, and Billy is using them against her in a way. Really thought this was cool. Really loved the fight scene, the fight choreography. The fact is that he does a spin in the air, which pretty much most Power Rangers do anyway, but it really added to the aesthetic, it really added to the kind of danger, and the fact is that he took Squillia down really quickly. Boom, that gets a good point. But we also get another good point for the Sleepy Cuffs. Who would have thought that they would have come around again, or that power would be used? So very interesting right there. Now, one thing is a bad point, which I don't really get, and I don't know if it's meant to be hot chocolate or is it just water, and if it's water, that's really weird, is the point where the Rangers are relaxing after the battle. They're enjoying the victory that they've earned, and they're having marshmallows, and the marshmallows are just kind of floating on some of the cups, and I'm just like, what? Like, is it water? Is it hot chocolate? If it's hot chocolate, then it would burn the hands of the Rangers. So I don't know what's inside it. If it's water, that's really weird. I'm sure marshmallows would taste really weird with water on them, or the fact that they've absorbed water. I'm not a big fan of marshmallows, but this does get a bad point. A good point which made me laugh is the fact that the colors of the Rangers' phones match the colors for the Rangers. Nice kind of coordinating. As soon as you become a Ranger, you can't like any other color. You have to like your own. But it's a nice touch. I like that Harvey made a joke about how he was saving everyone, and everyone's like, ha ha ha. It was a nice little joke and a nice little put in there. Why wouldn't they all listen to Harvey? But that's a good point. Now, the bad point in this is I really want Heckle to continue on being with the Rangers. It makes sense rather than just to dip out when it comes to a point where, like, you know that the planet's being invaded. So I really wish Heckle joined them for the rest of the season. It would have made sense, or at least we know what happened. Oh yeah, he had to go back to the Dino Charge universe. That I like, and we may not see him ever again. So I feel like having that explanation that he went back or he continued fighting would have made sense. And this just really kind of got to me. I like seeing Heckle. I like seeing that they used the Dark Ranger costume with the Kuru Navy helmet, which would have made better. But again, I just feel like we should have had that closing statement from Heckle saying, I've got to return back home now. I'll see you later. That would have made sense. But obviously, no. Why would you ditch your team, Heckle? Why would you ditch your team? But yeah, I am gonna leave it there. I want to say thank you very much for listening and watching. I really do appreciate you for spending your time in checking out this video. So thank you very much. And if you want to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe, that would be a big help. And if you want to help the channel further, then check out my Patreon or the channel memberships. It does help the channel grow. Thank you very much for listening and watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. I want to say a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters, and I wanted to shout out Kimona Cat, Kira Stanada, Micah Baldwin. Your help goes a long way to help support the channel, and if you want to help support the channel, the links to my Patreon and channel memberships are listed below in the description.
あらあら、チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとう。チャンネル登録、高評価お願い。以下のリンクから商品を入手することができるよ。